Well, welcome everyone. I honestly don't know what this reading is going to be about, just that I was guided to do it. So I'll start by saying please excuse dollar store glasses and the lack of personal um, preparation. Honestly, I thought I was going to be testing a not live video, and well, here we are. I knew the minute I got the title this might might be a doozy. So, well, if you've seen my previous videos, then I shouldn't say anything else. And please excuse Aries if he gets up and down while I'm doing this. And as you might have seen from the title, Testing the Universe, DM and DF, I already said the initial prayer and I've done my testing, so I feel pretty confident in just going with what's coming through right now, which is that there seems to be a lot of energy about both the divine feminines and the divine masculines going against what they know they're supposed to do. To that, I have no excuse. Clearly, you can see from my lack of videos that I'm among them, so I guess that this is going to be as much my butt kicking as anyone else's. I keep getting told to surrender, to surrender. And I think that's a simplified version of multiple conversations over the last few months, weeks, even years. If you've watched any of the other videos, they were very clear about warning me and anyone that was watching about the energies that were coming up. Um, One of the things that I was supposed to put out and didn't earlier, actually, it's been many months now, just before 2020 began. Um, if you watch the other videos, I'll shorten it for you. Um, we had a lot of lessons that were going on. Uh, Lessons for the divine feminine 1 year, then lessons for the divine masculine, and learning for him to go within, learning for the divine feminines to going within. This year in 2020 was supposed to be, or is supposed to be, about communication between the divine masculine and the divine feminine. That on an internal level, on a personal level, that means that you're going to, or if you're doing your work, um, you will most likely be pulling up a lot of trauma from the past, from relationships, from childhood, um, life in general. If you push through the pain and through the tears, then you can integrate the good parts of what you learn of those lessons and grow as an individual, of course. And that's the whole point. In this kind of message, it's simple, but it's so complicated because for each and every single one of us, it's different. And I am not ready to get into any kind of personal childhood stuff. But let's just say one of my big triggers this year has been abandonment issues coming up left and right. And it's very personal, and we'll leave it at that. But of course, the solution for that is going to be, again, very simple and very complicated. It means learning my triggers, learning what those are, learning the difference between what happened in my childhood that caused those triggers, which, and I think, actually, I guess I know why this one's a great one for me to be told to be talked about or talking about. Um, if you just looked at my family, you wouldn't think that that was one of my issues. Um, but we can have issues from when we're very small and from things that we don't necessarily remember 100%. And so there was a lot of soul searching, a lot of, and still is, going on. Um, Recognizing when those triggers happen, recognizing what causes them for me, and then how I have been reacting to those triggers that caused problems in my relationships, and learning to fix that. And that's the one I've been dealing with this year, the biggest one. And of course, for each person, it's going to be different. But the message is in this that 2020, whereas 2018, 2019, 2020, and 21 have all been different, and especially hard. The In 2020, it was the DMs, divine masculines, that were learning a lot about themselves, that were being encouraged by spirit to grow and to make changes that they needed to make for themselves. And with the divine feminines in 2019, it was the same. A lot of growth, a lot of shakeup, a lot of changes. And now in 2020, we're being asked to, excuse me, 2021, um, we're being asked to learn to communicate with each other. And again, it's as the individual soul, okay, you have your divine feminine side and you have your divine masculine side. And when they're lined up, then you're in balance. Then everything is in harmony. When they're not lined up, when you still have issues that cause communication problems or cause you, let me explain this a little better. They're kind of hollering at me a little. Um, I guess I'm going to delve right into mine. So for me, the abandonment issue stemmed uh, from my birth father leaving. And you would not think that this was an issue. I have a wonderful dad. I call him my dad. If anyone calls him anything different, it's the only time I get really pissed. Um, and I love him very much. However, having said that, um, apparently the fact that that I have a memory of my birth father walking out before the age of 2 caused this crap. So as we learn to recognize those triggers, we can learn to release them, get rid of the pain, get rid of the trauma, and not react, which is really important because when you're in a relationship, whatever that relationship is, learning to communicate with other people is essential to survival. It's essential to living, at least living harmoniously. So the more I work on this, the more I gain balance, the more that should improve, right? Having said that, I'm going to wrap up the personal tidbit. What I want to go, what I think that we're going to get into is what's going on with the divine masculine and what's going on with the divine feminine in terms of they're learning to communicate. What triggers are they having? What trauma is coming up, or Heavenly Father wants to talk about, so that hopefully it will assist us all in understanding the other side of what we're dealing with. Um, Clearly, this was specifically towards twin flames in this case, and I guess we're going to get to it. So I'm going to skip, I think, I'm going to skip the very long shuffling process because although I've seen some other very talented readers who can shuffle, shuffle, shuffle very quickly and cards fly out, I am just not confident enough to, I think I'm worried about destroying my cards, shuffle my cards that fast. So we're just going to do it the normal way. And I do love when the other readers tell you what cards they're using. Sometimes they'll come up with beautiful cards, and it's nice to know what those are. So I will attempt to, in the future, as I purchase, keep track of things like that. I do have two beautiful sets that I've used for quite a while. This is one of them. They're really pretty. And then I will have a set that I'm going to be using afterwards for, I believe, for a piece of advice. I know they told me to go get the deck and we'll see what they have to say with it. If you'll excuse me for just a second, I am still learning a lot of the technical stuff, which is part of what's been holding me up. There's something on my computer that says something about introducing sleep tabs. So as I go through this process, if anyone knows how to stop stuff like that, feel free to kindly put it in the comments section. As I do, this is the first live stream I've been able to do. So as I do them in the future, I'll try to announce them. This was last minute, so obviously I don't know that I'm going to get too many live or too many people on. If anyone pops in, please feel free to comment. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them to the best of my ability. And of course, the angels are usually very happy to answer things to the best of their ability. Some things we're not allowed to know in advance. Okay. All right, we're going to use this one for Divine Masculine, Divine Feminine, excuse me. As I said, I was not prepared to do this. Water would have helped in advance. Ooh, and I've got to grab the mouse before I turn the whole thing off on accident. All right. Oh, they're going to make me after I just said I wasn't doing this. So, what does the divine have to say about the divine masculine? Oh, okay. Interesting. Page of Pentacles. And what I'm getting is that the divine masculine seems to be focused on his finances right now, on what's going on with them. But it strikes me very clearly that although he's holding on very, very tightly to his money, very tightly to whatever it is that makes him feel like he's got money, he's looking back. He's not happy. So they're saying he's out of balance. Why is the divine masculine walking away from something that clearly he doesn't seem to want to walk away from? I don't see fear or feel fear. I don't see almost like longing. Not quite. Questioning. He's questioning whether or not he should be walking away from whatever he's walking away from. And I don't think this is a message of the grass is greener on the other side kind of feeling. This is now, let me see what else they have to say. It's almost like holding on to his money is a responsibility. Like it's something that he feels like he has to do, like he's supposed to, but at the same time, it's not where his focus is. It's not where he wants to be. And do keep in mind, these won't always resonate for everybody. Um, Although I do honestly, especially after having experienced my own twin flame, believe that there's nothing else like it. And if you've been blessed with the gift of meeting your twin flame and even coming close to union, in my opinion, an amazing blessing, and I wouldn't change anything no matter what happens. But having said that, they give the messages, my angel friends, I mean, give the messages they want to give. And it doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be on the same wavelength I'm on right now. And so it may not be exactly what you're on right now, but if it resonates with you, um, take what you will from it. There's almost a message in the fact that I'm not getting any messages. All right, I got one, but we're not supposed to look at it yet. Let's see what the Divine Feminine's saying, or what's going on with the Divine Feminines. Oh, that is way too many. I'm just going to say there's a lot on the Divine Feminine's mind. We're going to look at them for a second. If they come back up, we'll take them. So I have Ten of Swords. Ooh, lots of pain. Five of Pentacles, money struggles. King of Cups. Definitely does not look like a happy king, let me tell you. I'll show you the cards in a second. Five of Wands. Ten of Pentacles, which is a good card. Two of Wands, choices. Six of Cups. Okay. So you can see, we're going to see if any of these pop back up. Can you see them? Oh, sorry about the glare. I will improve, I am told, as I practice more with getting everything just right in here. Obviously, the right lighting is incorrect. I've been meaning to get a ring light and a few other items that would have assisted me. But unfortunately, when COVID happened and we went on lockdown, I was unable to get some of the stuff I wanted. Okay. Heavenly Father, please show me the energy that the Divine Feminine is in and what you want me to see. Something almost popped up, but that's almost wishful thinking here. Keep in mind, this doesn't mean it's going to be the end of the world. It doesn't mean it's what's going to happen. This one is just with the energy that they're in. Outcomes are never set in stone. I've got another lot of cards. And quite frankly, I've had readers who will sit there and give the most tower moment worst messages. So no matter what we get, the most tower moment worst messages of Divine Feminines and Divine Masculines. And I used to get upset when I watched them until I realized that my Divine Masculine and I used to go through those tower moments in like a couple of hours and then be done with it, or a couple of days at the most. and luckily we communicate very well, or did, and it would go very quickly for us. So no matter what we get, don't panic. Temperance. I don't know if you can see the temperance card. The Emperor. The Death card. Fool in reverse. Ace of Wands in reverse. And the High Priestess. So, Divine Feminines have been spending some time on their own in this group. She's not completely unhappy. I don't know if you can see, she's got 2 cups in her hand. Despite the fact that this is the Temperance card, 2 of Cups pops into my head. She's thinking about that twin flame union. She's thinking about the pleasant memories that used to happen, the things that she misses when her divine masculine's not there. But there's a smile on her face and a sense of serenity, and she's finding peace within herself. Peace within the situation, no matter what's going to happen. And again, the energy surrounding her is the divine masculine. You may have been feeling the divine masculine lately, um, feeling his higher self. I'm not going to say that all of the divine masculines on this particular wavelength, and I've gone into wavelengths in my other videos or groups of people and how that works, but it'll be like laying on your bed and feeling the warmth of his arms wrap around you, or in a moment of despair, in a moment of where something's just really heavy, feeling that higher source of him, not necessarily the 3D version, but when in his absence, feeling that reassurance of him being there, letting you know that whatever happens in this 3D realm, there's still the after, there's still that spirit side of everything, and that he's still there, that there is no separation, not really. It only really happens when you close yourself off completely to energy. The Death card, feeling defeated, but also recognizing that sometimes defeat is not what it seems. Sometimes it's a cycle, just like when we pass from this plane, it's not the end of our energy, it's just the beginning of a new journey. If you see here, I didn't notice that till I said that, but here's the angel of death. But here she is, she's going on her new journey. She's free. And I know it doesn't feel that way. Believe me, I know. But whatever happens, whether everything works out in this lifetime or not, it's just a game. It's just a blip in time. We live here for what, if we're lucky, maybe 100 years nowadays. And then we move on. 100 years compared to eternity. And again, I know it doesn't feel that way, but it's true. And I think that a lot of the divine feminines are starting to realize that, especially when they do feel their divine masculines around them, surrounding them in that, what people call it, the 5D, and that spirit sense and that energy that is unbreakable, unchangeable. I mean, it changes in terms of what we learn and we grow and the love that we add to it, but it's not destroyed, it just transmutes. The Fool card in reverse. A lot of divine masculines are living in fear right now, which is not helping. If you watch the other videos, this is one of those do as I say, not as I do moments. If I ever write an autobiography and you cover this year, you will know do as I say, not as I do. The fear doesn't help. It does not help with manifesting. It doesn't help with anything that you're doing or trying to accomplish. The tears, the crying. It's just, it is what it is. We're human. But the Fool in reverse, the divine feminines are feeling very much, and this is kind of a continuation of the defeat. It's interlinked. So when you feel defeated and when you're having those not so great thoughts, it causes you to energetically want to close up, to not want to reach out, to not want to open up. And there's no judgment from me or from the angels or from Heavenly Father. If you choose not to open up to another relationship, that's okay. It's actually encouraged to let you have some time to heal. But don't let it, oh, I'm getting yelled at. This one's partly for me. Don't let it stop you from doing the other things in life that you want to do. Don't let, if you're in separation right now, okay, and boy, I'm going to lay it out here. Jeez, guys. If you're in separation and it stings when you are, don't let it stop you from doing what you're supposed to do, from walking your path, from buying your house or your car or your starting your business. That'll come up in a second. Because the Fool here in reverse, a fool is about a leap of faith. It's about trusting in divine. Oh, sorry. It's about knowing that everything's going to be okay, no matter what happens. There's two people in this, twin flames, and I haven't learned enough from God yet to know if that whole thing about them being one soul that split or two, how to explain that the best. The best way I can explain it is if you think of the Creator as one being and we're all in that one being, like cells within Him. And He had masculine energy and a feminine energy. And one cell split into two. Think of babies and zygotes or whatever. One cell split into two. So we're the most matched throughout lifetimes. And if you're in separation from that, after you've felt it, after you've been close to union, it sucks. And so if you're on this wave with me, I'm sorry. I know it sucks. But we can't let it stop that childlike energy within us that put us here in the first place, because we wanted to come and we wanted to learn and we wanted to explore and we wanted to accomplish things. And if we end up doing that alone, then that's what we do. We still have to turn this upright. We still have to leap like the fool and just trust that it's going to work. Don't ask me what I'm going to say later when this is all over. Ace of Wands in reversed. In this deck, it's kind of interesting. When I see this upright in this deck, I always see it as kind of like she's sitting here. Okay, let me turn her upright first so you can see. She's sitting here and, she has this. It's almost like this light, this gift behind her. This is how I read this particular deck, this card. But she's so focused on what's in the mist, what she cannot see, what she doesn't know, the unknown. She's focused so much on the unknown that she doesn't see what's behind her. Like this is so full of power. It's all hers. It's just so strong. It split the rock behind her. And she just doesn't see it at all. All she sees is this mist, this nothingness that she cannot understand or fathom or see. We're beginning to start to see what we couldn't see. We're beginning to start to understand what we were supposed to do, what we were supposed to be. We're starting to understand our own strength and power. And that's a good thing. And the High Priestess. In this particular deck, she's ethereal, she's beautiful, she's serene, calm. This is you after the storm ends. And the High Priestess, this one, although she looks very calm, if you look very carefully at her face, she's there's a story about a golden apple. And I won't get into it. There's a couple of mythos stories about a golden apple, but they're always a prize. They're always something very, very good, right? She doesn't look happy to see it. She's just not being appreciative yet of what she's got. And we need to change that because the high priestess in us is supposed to be, not only do we know our power, but we're supposed to understand that we're supposed to appreciate what we have. I'm hearing it takes the divine a whole lot of work behind the scenes to line things up, to protect us, to help us reach stability and balance and financial okayness, much less something beyond okay. So we need to make sure that we appreciate what we do have. Because in the end, and I'm going to go ahead and finish reading the Divine Masculine, but in the end, whatever comes out of these, at the end of the day, when all this is done and when this test is over, we are only responsible for what we hold in our own deck, in our own hands. What we choose to do with this experience, that's what we're responsible for. Nothing more, nothing less. We cannot control the divine masculine. We cannot manipulate him. And if somebody's doing that, I've been seeing some readings out there. So for people on a different wavelength, just in case, if you're doing that, don't. You're going to screw up your own energy. Bad, bad, bad karma. But we're only responsible for what we do, for what we have. Oh, and side message, I'm sorry, guys. For me, just because as I've watched some of those videos, I'm sitting there thinking, okay, and these are readers that they have been on point and accurate with a lot of stuff. Okay. But if there's anyone out there, whether it's the divine feminine or someone else, and they're like manipulating the divine masculine, your karma's gonna be awful. Don't do it. Like, seriously, his lessons are for him. He needs to experience those, whatever they are. And I get that some divine masculines see divine feminine as tears, so this one's for the divine masculines. That's not manipulation, that's human. Just saying it because of what just happened. But it happens. But in the end, we're only responsible for ourselves. We can only take responsibility. And I don't mean that to say that we shouldn't be compassionate, kind, caring, loving towards a divine masculine, no matter where mine is, how far away he is. I will always love him with every fiber of my being, every cell in me, because he is, to me, a reflection of the divine energy. And hopefully, if that's your divine masculine, that's how you will feel, especially if you're communicating, because we're all in a different place in a different space. But God told me once to love him, meaning my divine masculine, through God, and to love God through my divine masculine. And so the best way I can express this is it's something we should be doing to everybody anyway. It's a very simple principle. If we're shining to the best of our ability, then what the goal should be is to be a reflection of the love that God holds for every person. And of course, it's going to be deeper with your divine masculine. Of course, it's going to be stronger with your divine masculine than it's going to be with anybody else. And that's just the nature of it. But in the end, when we're talking about this lifetime and the tests that we have in these lifetimes, we can't pass this test for him. We can't do anything. You can guide someone if they ask. You can be there if they need something. You can show compassion and kindness and caring if they reach out. But at the end of the day, if we're in separation right now, it's time to focus on us and our test and what the rest of 2021 is about, which is learning to communicate better, both to yourself and to other people. And now I'm going to take a peek here at what the card was that they had hidden when the divine masculine didn't want to say anything. Seven of Pentacles. Ah, interesting. Some divine masculines, after they've walked away, holding on to that money that they were so worried about while still looking back, may turn around and find this is what they're looking at. That while they were walking away, while they were busy doing whatever it is that they're doing, that the divine feminine has made hers grow into this beautiful, I mean, look at this. Money doesn't grow on trees, but maybe it will for the divine feminines this year, especially the ones in separation who are free of distractions or overcoming distractions and learning to make wise choices about spending and about what they're doing. And look at this, like to his one, her seven. And in the cases where that happens, that could be a very hard lesson. See if there's anything else, just because the divine feminine energy had so much in there. Anything else going on with the divine masculine? God, I want to know, actually, I want it specific. Divine masculine's obviously worried about his finances. And let's be fair, and I want to be really fair. Um, I normally do agree with most readers that these are not, that they're timeless, right? For the people that are on this wavelength, going through this with this group of people right now in this moment, whenever I do the readings, it will resonate. For those people that are not on that same wavelength, on that same spirit, and I'm not talking about spiritual journey, you may still have a twin flame, but you might be at a different place, right? I'm not at the same place right now that I was at 5 years ago. For the most part, they are timeless. For the most part, if you're just beginning the journey, you might see something like this and say, oh, no, that's not me. And you might be in a different space. And maybe the one I did years ago will be just what you would need to hear. But we are in 2021. We just, for anyone who watches this years from now, in case you don't remember, 2020 for finances for a lot of people with the lockdown and how hard everything got around the world. So we got to cut the divine masculines a little slack for being worried about their money. Everybody's been worried about it. Okay. So I would like to ask on that note what the divine masculine feels for the divine feminine. If he could tell her anything throughout this journey without any consequences, if he could say anything and not have to admit it to the world, not have to take her back, not have to do anything, but just his higher self to hers, what would he say? Starting to think they didn't want to answer. There's a lot. Eight of Cups. Oh, he's walking away from lots of choices. He's walking away from options. He's not quite done with them, though, energetically. See, he's kind of looking back. There's all of his options, and he's walking away from all of his options. I don't know if this is career options, job options, or karmic options, other women, other men. You know, if you watched a lot of divine masculine, divine feminine energy videos, I shouldn't have to explain to you. You can be a female and be in your masculine. You don't even have to be a permanent masculine. You can be in your masculine. You can be a divine feminine in a male body. It works both ways. But whatever it is, all of these options, and actually, I get the sense that it's a lot of different things. It's not like it is not like it's 8 women or 8 jobs, or it's like, maybe there's 8 other person that he could be focused on, 2 other job options, a lot of confusion. He's walking away from all of it, but he's still looking back a little bit. He's still wondering if he should take another step, if he should take another look. The Sun in reverse, he is definitely not feeling in his power. The Sun card has always in the upright come up for me as a divine masculine energy. Not necessarily always mine, but as a divine masculine energy. And he is definitely not feeling in his power right now. He's sitting inside very melancholy. I'm going to turn this upright so you can see what this is. See how he's just sitting inside very melancholy, but there's, okay, I'm going to get into a weird thing with myself, right? I do this. I'm also a Reiki master. I do talk to animals and plants. It's a whole nother video. And I don't blame you if you think it's crazy, because when I first heard about people doing that, I thought so too. But it's a distinct energy. These are gifts. These are gifts that are sitting there waiting for him And he's so into whatever this is, this wheel of fortune. He's waiting for his wheel to change. He's waiting for luck to change. And he's waiting so hard for luck to change that he's ignoring this, like his real gifts are right there. Like, I'm not saying all divine masculines are going to be able to talk to animals or talk to plants, but everyone has gifts of their own, and he's ignoring his. And each divine masculine is going to be different, but they're ignoring their gifts. He's very hurt and he's very wounded. And I do not get the impression that this is just from the divine feminine, although there is part of it there. And on that note, yes, that includes I have made mistakes. Probably why they encouraged me to do this kind of video, because so if my divine masculine, I don't think he watches my videos, but if he does ever, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that my triggers. Anyway, but it isn't just me in this case, and it isn't just the divine feminine. He's hurting over a lot of stuff. A whole lot of stuff. He does not feel like he's in his power right now. The Emperor in reverse, a lot of people see the Emperor in reverse is a reversal of its good traits. Whereas the Emperor is strong and stable and smart and wise and kind. Some people will read this card as not that. And so I'm going to say two things. One, I might be being a little bit biased here. And if I am, I apologize to everybody. But I don't see it like that. I see this Emperor in reverse is still being kind and generous and loving, even though he's not being that way to the feminine. He doesn't change who he is. It just means that his world is turned upside down right now, and he's acting human. And it just is what it is. If there was anything that the divine feminine's higher self could say to the divine masculine without expecting anything, without repercussions, without ties, no strings, what would she say? Or, if need be, since it's probably mostly divine feminines that are end up watching this, ooh, what would your higher self say to you? Ooh, release negative energy. Devil's been coming up way too much in other people's readings and now in mine. Crap. And yes, I'm so sorry. I'm making this way too personal, but geez. Well, that's what the higher self wants to say to the divine feminine. And if you think about it, let me explain. You have me, my higher self, okay? And then you have an overall energy of the feminine. Think of the divine, God Himself, the creator of all things in which we are part of. He has His, just like we have. We are as above, so below. We are created in His image. That doesn't mean that God looks like me. We are created in His image in that He is a big ball of energy with masculine and feminine energy. Just like we have masculine and feminine energy. Okay? So, this is not coming from my higher self. This is coming from the universal feminine energy. We need to release the negative stuff. And this is not about releasing the masculine. This is not about releasing this emperor who's already, let's face it, as feminines, we're nurturing, caring creatures. We know when we've screwed up. Well, guess what? Guys don't show it as much, but they do too. This is not about releasing the masculine. This is about releasing the things that we have been holding on to that are stopping us from doing what we're supposed to do. The distractions, the toxic energy, releasing those triggers within us. Okay, I'm going to out myself because this is important. They're like yelling, and this is strong. Although this isn't all me, part of it was. Part of this was, and I did it. I did it because I wasn't healed, and I screwed up, and I caused him pain, and I can't fix that. But moving forward, if we release these triggers, if we release the toxic energy, if we do what we're supposed to do, when we do our work in 2021, that's how we release this. That's how we make sure that this doesn't ever happen again to someone that we love. There is definitely a benefit to standing up for yourself, to being strong, to being in your power, to being who you should be when it's done the right way. This is a message from the highest divine energy. It's time to release the traumas. It's time to release the toxins. It's time to release the crap and let go. And whether that is displaying itself, myself again, no, this is not going to be an easy process. I'm going to say this again, do as I say, not as I do. Probably going to need a cigarette after this. Guess what I'm supposed to be releasing? Cigarettes. Okay? Distractions, childhood pain, triggers, trauma, and what those traumas can cause us to do. Lack of momentum, lack of movement, not doing what we're supposed to do. We got to get rid of this because that energy I just felt, I haven't felt that since I got in trouble with Gabriel. Well, got in trouble with God, and they sent Gabriel after my butt. I wasn't writing stuff down like I was supposed to. Long story. That was. This is not okay. This is not okay. And the only one that can fix this, Divine Feminine, is you. The only one that can not do this again is you. The only one that can release this is you. You've got to do the work. You've got to meditate. You've got to do the homework. You've got to figure out what caused the trigger and let it go. And then you can let the other things go. Five of Wands. Taking this as a, usually the Five of Wands doesn't necessarily come up as a great thing. It's conflict, it's fighting. I want you to look at something. And I don't want you to focus on masculine or feminine energy, but there are two here and then everything over here. There is something you need to fight for. Something that all of the divine feminines on this wavelength right now need to fight for. And it's going to be different for each of you because these are the lessons and they'll manifest in different ways. In fact, even as I'm reading this, could not, for the life of me, if someone had a gun to my head right now, could not tell you what it is that I'm supposed to be fighting for. I'm sure you can guess what I wish it was they were saying. I don't know. But I'll find out when I meditate and when I pray. And so I encourage you to meditate, pray, Because although we're supposed to release the triggers, not hurt other people, release the negative energy, the devil energy, the things holding us back, they're also telling us that we need to stand our ground. However that's manifesting for you, whatever it is that you need to fight for, that will give you the opportunity to learn the lessons about healthy ways to set your boundaries and to fight for what you really love, then that's what it's going to be for you. Ooh, King of Cups. That doesn't mean us to be alone. We're not supposed to be alone. I encourage you to, if you're in separation, to make a decision. Either wait for your masculine if the circumstances make that seem like it's possible. My divine and I had been in separation multiple times, but it was with communication, with understanding. If it's not that and it's time to move on, then there's a promise of someone else coming in because we're not supposed to be alone. Now, this was the last card to come up though, so I would hazard to guess that the creator is not going to bring this in until we've done our homework, until we've released the other stuff, until we make sure that we don't. If he's bringing this in, this guy is like, damn, hot, sexy. Like, I don't think you can see this on the, and it's not about how he looks. It's, God, I don't even know. I don't even think I can actually see his eyes, but there is an energy in it almost looks like the smoldering, like I'm going to step out of this card and sweep you off your feet. You are mine. I am taking you now kind of look, which just means that if we do the work, because God's not going to give us this, He's not going to give us one of His prized children if we're just going to do this again. Do you know what I'm saying? He wants to make sure that this guy stays like this, not like this. But if we do the work, you know, we're not supposed to be alone. So it doesn't mean that you have to give up on your masculine. This could very well be your masculine. It's just an energy, a representation of a masculine energy coming in for the divine feminine to say, you are mine. I will have you. I may be sitting here. I may be waiting. I may be watching until you do what you need to do or until I do what I need to do. But this guy, whereas if this is your divine masculine, I'm going to tell you right now, and they're seconding in this, your divine masculine right now, the ones in separation, he's still here. You know, he's still figuring things out. By time this happens, he will know. There will be no question. There will be no doubt. He will know. Whoever this is, divine masculine or soulmate, which is still a divine masculine, it's just, that's a whole nother video. Twin mates, twin flames versus soulmates. But this one, when he comes in, he's coming in with a purpose. He's coming in to take you and make you his. It's up to you where you go from here. And now I have made this video almost an hour long and it completely thoroughly embarrassed myself. And I think I'm going to give a word of advice now. And then I'm going to go and be absolutely naughty and have a cigarette, and then I'm going to go pray about how to stop having cigarettes because clearly I need to get rid of that energy. So this one is from, I don't know if you can see it. The Answer is Simple Oracle card deck. It's really, it was a gift, I believe, from my mother, and it's a beautiful deck. So, oh, I forgot to ask. Oh, message for all. Okay. For the masculines and the feminines. Put others first. I don't even know if we have to read that, but I kind of feel guided to. So I'm going to look at this again. I mean, I like these cards. They're not necessarily as elegant as some of my other tarot cards, but they're so fun with the seal and he's got the ball and this just, it's kind of cute. All right. So that is number 43. Okay. The number that comes after the answer to everything. Presently, your spirit is calling you to make choices that will serve others' needs more than your own. It may be as simple as giving up an hour at the gym in order to help your company finish a project, skipping a pre planned night out with friends in order to host a last minute visitor from out of town, or changing your vacation date in order to attend your employer's wedding. Whatever sacrifice you're called upon to make, know that in the big picture, your willingness to do so is serving the greater good of all. The ego does not like to be interrupted. It perceives a change in plans as an affront to its importance and balks at the disruption, making it a painful and unpleasant ordeal. The spirit, on the other hand, is flexible and adaptable, placing service to humanity over selfish interest at all times. Although your ego may be temporarily inconvenienced by the disruption, the effort you make to accommodate others will bring about a deeper sense of peace than this petty part of you can ever create. So take it easy on your ego and make it delightful for your spirit and expect disruptions. Whoa. What I thought was going to be just a wonderful serve everybody message. Expect disruptions. Okay. I'm not going to comment on that at all. I do not want to manifest anything. I did, and literally, God willing, I'm going to ask for one piece of advice for the divine masculine, one piece of advice for the divine feminine, and then I will leave it at that and cut this short. And I think God has blessed me. Oddly enough, I know most readers are praying for hundreds of viewers. It would be so wonderful. Let's go live, hundreds. But I have managed to get through this whole thing with no viewers and not embarrassed myself. So it will find those that need to see it when it is time. So, any advice, God, for the divine masculine? Oh, for the divine masculine, the message is say, I'm sorry, and clean up your mess. Oh, and you'll have to excuse me for just a minute. This absolutely killed me. That's okay. I'm going to be totally personal now. Look at what my son brought me for Mother's Day. If that isn't a beautiful blessing, I don't know what is. That is absolutely gorgeous. Right there. Sorry, I had to get a Kleenex. And this was touching way too close to home. Way too close to home. And anyway, that's enough of that. All right. I think actually for these cards I can leave these off. So I don't know. I'm an hour and 5 minutes. Let's see what the Divine Feminine gets, and then if you, well, there's no one here to say you. I guess to be fair, I should at least take a look at these. But I've got for the Divine Masculine, say I'm sorry. So I'm not sure. Um, and the truth is if he feels he's completely okay, then then this one wasn't for them. But say I'm sorry and clean up your mess. And I have a feeling this is not talking about dishes, although yeah, if you leave dishes in the sink, don't do that. But um, clean up your mess, whatever that means. So I'm guessing that it feels a little bit more like it just for distinction for the divine masculines. Um, and again, this is not. I don't want to make this into any kind of thing that's like targeting divine masculines lately. But like with the I'm sorry card, I'm not sure who you're supposed to say sorry to. Um, and I don't want to be personal in it. So I'll just leave it as very general. So if there's something that you feel you need to correct, and I'm saying that because you got both of them, the say I'm sorry and the clean up your mess. So I don't know if you're maybe had a fight with a family member or, um, ooh, actually, whoa, I don't even know that this one's for the divine feminine. Although, good lord, if my divine masculine does some stuff, sometimes it would be nice if he, you know, said sorry. He does. He's good about it. But this actually feels like an instance, like a specific, almost like a guidance of warning. Like I feel it really, really strong. Like I'm seeing the divine masculine like bump. Have you ever seen men bump check each other? You know what I mean? Energetic, like they're testing their testosterone's all like right, and they're kind of body checking. That's what it feels like. It feels like it's a warning. Like you might accidentally get yourself into a situation with somebody. So be quick to apologize. Be quick to diffuse the situation. You know what I mean? Like if you're in your pride and you're in your testosterone and you're, going about things and you didn't mean to, and then somebody like gets really, you accidentally bump them and they get really all mad because they think you were doing it on purpose. Just diffuse the situation. Just hurry up and diffuse it. And if this is about your feminine and you feel something there, that I'm not the right one to say something right now. I'm just not. Okay. And clean up your mess. I do not know what this one means for you. So I will probably read those. And then any messages for the divine feminine from God. Oh gosh, dang. I don't think we're ready. Holy cow, we're still on the masculines. Oh, I can't breathe. What the hell is going on? Clean up your mess. 37. Oh. Oh no. Oh, and then clean up your message stamp. Okay. I'm sorry, everyone. When I start channeling hard, I feel like I'm choking right here. It becomes hard to breathe. The ego is a prideful entity and it doesn't want to acknowledge that it can be hurtful or cause injury. Because of that, it can do great damage again and again. In fact, the ego can be so self involved that it may not even be aware that it's causing trouble, other than to notice that just the distancing, rejection, anger, and sadness that it invokes from others. As you can see, the ego causes any damage to other spirits. Therefore, this not only hurts them, it hurts your spirit as well. This is a time to rein in your ego and set things right. What pain has yours inflicted lately, whether on others or yourself? Where has your ego lashed out or attacked? In an effort to protect itself, leaving a mess of emotions and hurt feelings in its wake. Where have you been careless and upset someone else's world, causing that person to lose confidence or to have to fix your mess? Now is the time to return to the scene of the crime and from your spirit set things right. Ask those you've hurt, failed, disappointed, or upset how you can make amends. Offer your help to pick up the pieces. Don't ignore the damage done. All things can be healed if only you are willing to clean up the mess you made of them. And say, I'm sorry. I will go ahead and read that too. Let's face it, your ego hates to admit that it makes mistakes, and it doesn't like to say, I'm sorry. Rather, it conjures up a long list of excuses and explanations for its poor and fearful behavior. The ego ignores the impact it has on others because it's too busy defending itself. Your spirit, on the other hand, doesn't hesitate to apologize for all the mistakes the ego makes as soon as they become obvious. It knows that we're all students here to learn, and mistakes are an essential part of the process. Your spirit also lives in the now and is aware that the best way to be present is both to forgive and ask forgiveness for errors as quickly as possible. Now is the time to follow your spirit when it comes to mistakes. Where might you have caused injury or hurt to another's spirit? Where might you have spoken harshly, given someone a reason to doubt him or herself, or dimmed the spark of another's fire? Where have you stolen joy, felt resentful or jealous, or spoken disrespectfully about another? Because we're all one spirit, these mistakes not only hurt others and dim the light of the world, they hurt you as well. Follow your spirit back to the place of injury and say, I'm sorry. Keep your prideful ego from preventing this important healing. Every apology calls back more of your light. Apologize now to others and to yourself. All right. Now, any messages to us feminines? And boy, that was a pretty, just to be fair, because these were two pretty harsh messages. Holy crap, I can't even hold these cards. Really harsh messages to divine masculine. So just to be fair, I am going to, or not. Okay. I want to say on a personal level that divine feminines, as I said, can make some mistakes too. So if you did apologize, the message applies for us as well. Pain is a ripple effect, and it affects more than just that moment. It can affect a lifetime. But apparently, these don't get to go back in. I really did not like that feeling, so I'm going to obey and listen this time. So, any messages for the divine feminine? Heavenly Father, do you have any guidance for us? Anything that will help us on this journey, help us to grow? I mean, to be fair, this will help the masculine grow a lot, even though it was kind of tough. Tough love's okay. I'll take tough love. Anything you want to say to the Divine Feminine about her masculine? That was way too many for this. Way, way too many, but I will show what started to come out. Let go and flow. So let's see for a second. Oh, and see, this is why I don't like to shuffle. Still got too many. That's all right. What I think is too many, the divine thinks is appropriate. I will not argue. Oh, and I don't read these upside down. Well, when the divine speaks, he speaks. Let go and flow. This one came out first. Have fun. Let go and flow. Rise and shine. We are now at 1 hour and 15 minutes. But I will be fair to the divine feminines and read these as well. So number 42. 42, the answer to everything. And if you don't understand that reference, it's from a book and a movie. My brother loves it. When I was crying about turning, oh, I want to say, I was crying about turning 40. And one of my friends told me it wouldn't be that long before I turned 42, and I didn't understand what it meant. When I was turning 42, I was not really in the best place at that day. And my friend told me I was about to turn 42, which meant I was about to be the answer to everything. And then she explained the book and the movie, and I went and watched it. Okay. Have fun. Number 42. It's important to keep the inner light of your spirit shining bright in order to remain uplifted in a dark, negative ego. Ooh, okay, this was important for us. It's important, I'm going to repeat this. It's important to keep the inner light of your spirit shining bright in order to remain uplifted in a dark, negative, ego-based world. The best way to do so is to intentionally surround yourself with things that delight the spirit in every way. Fuel your inner light with some good old-fashioned fun. Connect with any sounds, scents, tastes, textures, flavors, and friends that amuse your inner child. Step away from drudgery, duty, mindless tasks, responsibilities for an hour or a day, and do something spontaneous and frivolous. The light of your spirit is that of your inner child. Ask what it would like to do today. It may be something as simple as watching a comedy, going shopping, taking a new car for a test drive, trying on hats and sunglasses in a department store, or having a picnic on the living room floor. Whatever it is, do it. Break from conventional routine and do something out of the box. The ego disdains frivolity, yet it is the most direct path to joy. Be frivolous, lighten up, have fun, be silly. It will refuel your light. So, that is the divine's advice to us divine feminines. Let go and flow, number 27. And by the way, I find dancing in the living room to 80s music or 90s music to be very therapeutic and helps release a lot of pain. Okay, 27. And if I'm not in pain, it's just fun. All right, let go and flow. Your ego is, oh, I said I want a tough love. Your ego is resisting some aspect of life, trying to halt, slow, or control its formidable force. Doing so is like trying to stop the ocean. It's exhausting and silly because it can't succeed. Your spirit, on the other hand, embraces life head on and rise the ups and downs, the ebb and flow, and the shifts and changes of life with determination and courage. Notice in which areas your ego is holding on too tightly. I'm going to have to meditate again to the reins and resisting the flow. Ask what am I trying to avoid? What or who am I trying to hold back or control? What am I fearfully managing rather than openly flowing with it? It helps to answer these questions out loud. Once you know where your ego is resisting the flow of life, ask your spirit to step in and help you ride the wave instead. To help let go and flow, pick up a small object and squeeze it with your left hand. Continuing to squeeze it, try to pick up something new with the same hand. It's not possible, is it? Not unless, of course, you shake your hand free and let go of the object. So, do. In fact, shake your entire body free of the rigidity that goes with resisting life. Breathe in, dive in, embrace all that faces you now. Your ego may be fearful and trying to stop change, but your spirit is ready and able to gracefully handle all that's coming towards you. Trust this and embrace the changes at hand. And the last one is rise and shine. After that one, I'm not so sure I want to read this one. 56. Okay. And I'm reading out the numbers just in case they have significance to anyone. Rise and shine. Begin today with your spirit leading the way. Rise above the dreary outlook of your ego and let the light of your spirit shine through. Release all the mental and emotional filters that ego has constructed in your view. No matter what happened yesterday, today is a fresh start. Begin the day shining like a sunrise at sea. Don't allow your ego to dim your light within you. Let yesterday's experiences go and shine fresh in the world. In honor of your spirit, don't just rise up, spruce up as well. Put on your most beautiful outfit. Fix your hair, polish your shoes, and most of all, don your brightest smile. Refuse to let yesterday's fog drift into today. No matter what has passed before, you're free to create a new day. Only the ego holds on to the past. In the divine realm, there isn't any such thing. The spirit rises and shines and lives in the present time. It's free from all that has transpired before. So rise with the present and shine with your spirit for all to enjoy, especially you. Now, with that, I will end this. For anyone that might see this someday, I hope it helps. I look at it this way. I might have embarrassed myself on this video. And clearly, I can't deny that this journey shakes me up too sometimes. But it's a beautiful journey. And I mean it when I say I wouldn't trade 1 minute that I've gotten to share with my twin flame. It's gotten me through some really tough times. Made me laugh, made me cry, clearly, made me laugh, held me up. I'd like to think that he told me once I've done the same for him, so not quite in those words, but it is an amazing experience. And if this is the end of it, I don't regret a minute. I never will. Having said that, I will say it's not pleasant to be embarrassed on a video, and I'm going to post this anyway because I was guided to. So maybe in my pain, well, if healing comes from it, then it was worth it, even if it's just one person. So may this find the right person, whoever needs to hear it, and have a beautiful, I was going to say it's 2021, but I'm getting yelled at because apparently I'm not done making videos. So have a beautiful night. You see this in the day, morning. I am going to stop the tears. I'm going to go pester my beautiful son and his wonderful girlfriend, and I will announce something. If you're having doubts about twin flames and soulmates and all that great stuff, just look around you. There are couples everywhere. Some of them may last just a little while, and some of them will last a lifetime. And you never know until you try. And some of them are going to be hard. The truth is if they were easy, then it just means you've done all the work. If they're still hard, it means you still have work to do. But look around you. We may be in tough moments, and this is for the divine feminines and masculines. We might be going through tough times right now. For anyone who is drawn to this, that's probably where they're at. And I know it sucks to look at the cute couples. when we're hurting so bad inside, we just can't breathe. But surely there's someone in your life that it makes you happy. For me, and I don't want to get into details because my son will kill me, but I'm watching my children, several of them, have beautiful relationships right now. And I couldn't wish for anything more for them. So, raising kids isn't easy. That journey was hard. We've discussed some of it, and it's worth it, 100%. When my son brought his girl over today, and I saw the look on his face, and he was communicating and talking to her and expressing emotions. Shouldn't out my redhead, but anyone that knows me will know who my redhead is. I was pretty proud. So look for those relationships around you. Find the beauty in the things around you. It helps. I promise it does. And I'm going to go find mine. May everyone have a beautiful morning, night, evening, whenever you see this.